What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update. No Sim in the studio today, but we have got Brian Daigle in the house. How you doing, Brian?
I'm okay, my brother. I'm okay. I hope you're well and everyone watching it is well and good.
Yeah, just trying to get over that loss in the North London derby. Has been a hard one to take, but it's nice to do some content that's not surrounded by the North London derby. We've got some transfer speculation to talk about today. And first up, we're going to talk about Santiago Gimenez and Luciano Geertruida. I think that's how you pronounce his name, as they were spotted inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the North London derby in attendance with their agents. Do you reckon there was anything behind that?
There's got to be, hasn't there? There's got to be. You don't just turn up at a game just to watch it on the just like, oh, I fancy taking in the game and let's bring my agent along with me just in case. There has to be something in that for sure, in my opinion.
And what do you think about those two players specifically? Both from Feyenoord. We know their manager is going over to Liverpool at the end of the season. Yeah. Santiago Gimenez having a sensational season, the amount of goals he's scoring, goal contributions as well. Luciano Geertruida is an interesting one because he's definitely making waves in the game. He's had a couple of really strong seasons for Feyenoord, plays centre-back, right-back, can even play defensive midfielder as well. So what's your opinions on those two?
So Gimenez, we've been linked with for the last couple of years, wasn't there? There was rumours yesterday, last season. And it looks like he's had another successful season. So there's now a bit of not just, he's had one good season in Holland, so we go get him. We know we've been burnt, i.e. Vincent Janssen, Steven Bergwijn. We've had our issues when they've come over from Holland after one season. Geertruida, don't know a hell of a lot. I know Gimenez more, but obviously what fits into the category, as we've heard the club say, they want players that can play multiple positions. And by the sounds of it, he can certainly cover that. And for me, the number 6 is the most important thing to get. So he fits that bracket for me.
Next up, we're going to be talking about Tosin Adarabioyo, who I know you're a big fan of. Ben Jacobs says that central defender Tosin Adarabioyo has informed Fulham that he will leave as a free agent this summer. Tottenham are one of the number of clubs who have discussed the transfer for the defender. Another freebie that Daniel Levy obviously likes very much, but I mean, in my opinion, I really like Tosin as a player, but I just can't see where he fits in. I would much prefer someone that's very much suited for that left centre-back role as opposed to maybe the right centre-back.
Ben, I'm completely with you. And just because Simeon's not here, I'll take place of Simeon and say the Jaws music and the sharks are circling, as Simeon would say. Listen, like you said, I am a big fan of Tosin Adarabioyo. I really wanted him last season. I am completely with you. The key for me is getting the left centre back sorted and cover for Van der Ven. I obviously understand why it's happening now because obviously he's on a free transfer. But it's just going to be we're tipping the scales, aren't we? We're overloading with right centre backs when left centre back is a real key issue. So as much as I like him and think he'd be a great addition, I don't understand it because we need that left centre back.
Yeah, especially when you look at Ashley Phillips coming through, who was also prominently on the right.
Yeah.
You've got Dragusin, you've got Romero as well. And then on the left, it's just literally just Mickey Van der Ven. So, I mean, we're very lopsided, aren't we, on that right-hand side. So maybe the next name might excite you a bit more because he is a left centre-back in Alessandro Buongiorno. La Repubblica say that Tottenham are now leading the competition to sign Alessandro Buongiorno. The club have been moving under the radar for months to sign the centre-back and watched him against Torino faced Inter Milan. He's also a defender that Juventus have been heavily linked with as well. So that gives you maybe an indication of how he's looked at within the Italian game. Left centre-back, good ball-playing ability, and I believe he's fairly good in the air as well.
Yeah, which some people would say that's Mickey Van der Ven's one slight chink, if he has got a chink in the armour. That be it. So getting some cover that would cover his one weakness or one slight issue with him, it makes sense. Like I said, we need to address issues for key players that aren't there ready and back up for key players that are there. And if they're out, the standard at the moment between Van der Ven and let's say Ben Davies or whoever we play there, it's so far the drop-off. Bringing in someone like Buongiorno could be a welcomed addition.
If I gave you the choice of you can only sign one player, either a left back or a left centre back, and put Davis as a backup on the left back or backup in the left centre back, which one would you take?
Oh, it's a really tough question. That's a really tough question. I think when I look at it, it would have to be the left back, and the only reason I say that is obviously Destiny with his injuries, but Reguilon is probably going. And if Sessionon's still there and we put on that extra year of his contract, we know he's never going to be fit. So if Destiny is out, we're in the issue we're in now. Whereas if Van der Ven's out, at least there is may not be the cover that everyone wants, but there is someone there that can do the job. So if it was either left back or left centre back, I think I would slightly go for a left back. But in all honesty, both are really needed, aren't they?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I'm looking at Ben Davies and I just don't want to see him at left back again. I mean, left centre back should be his position now. He's much more of a centre back now than he is a left back. In terms of other players that we've been linked with, The Athletic claim that Tottenham have been attentive to other clubs who may have PSR issues this summer. Conor Gallagher and Jacob Ramsey are both potential targets. What are your thoughts on them two?
All I can say is I'm very, very thankful that I don't drink anymore, because if I was still drinking, I'd probably play a drinking game that every time Gallagher's mentioned, you have to take a shot, because I'm getting sick and tired of this. I really am. Listen, he had a good game against Villa. I just do not get the transfer. And most importantly, I do not want us to help Chelsea out of their financial woes. I really don't. We've got people saying, like I will be, the Man City game, I want Man City to win. I want Man City to win. Because I don't want it to help Arsenal. Well, I don't want to give Chelsea money. I don't want Gallagher. So the whole circling around PSR clubs, I'm not even going to go there, because I know what will happen. This update will be 3 weeks long, and I will be saying some stuff. But yeah, nothing surprises me.
But in terms of the player Jacob Ramsey from Aston Villa, do you like the look of him?
I think it's I do. I really do. I really do. People like him. Like I saw as well. With Leicester going up, Dewsbury Hall. There's a lot of people that are going mad about Dewsbury Hall. He's actually a very, very good player. But people are going, because he's from the Championship. Look at Wharton, or is it Wharton or Warburton that went to... Yeah,
Wharton. Warburton's the bread. Wharton's the player.
Yeah, there you go. Look what Dele Alli did when he got... There are players from the Championship or League One that can come up and do it. It's just identifying those players. I think Dewsbury Hall is a good player, a very good player. But there are the odd players. But when you hear circling around, it just yes,
plays into the Jaws music narrative, doesn't it?
It does. It's in my head as we speak.
I like both Conor Gallagher and I like both Jacob Ramsey, but I think if we're going to sign a midfielder and go all out and splash big money, or relatively big money, Tottenham big money, let's say, on a midfielder, it has to be that number 6, surely. Like with the flaws that we're seeing at the moment in this football team, how easy it is to play through our midfield. Bissouma's not doing the business in the number 6. Højbjerg didn't do the business in the number 6 on the weekend. Surely that's the position we need to be targeting.
100% for me. It's throw the kitchen sink at it. I still say I want Paulinho. I think he's absolutely perfect. People going on about his age. So what? Van Persie went to United when he was approaching 30 because they wanted to win the league. They paid the money. That number 6, I think, is absolutely crucial. You saw with the Saka goal just how easy it is to break, and there's no one back to mop it up or protect.
How much time did Havertz have in the centre of the park just to get the ball down and play a ball over the top?
It happened over and over again, didn't it? Really, that we just saw from transition of in and out of possession. That number 6 is vital, and we need it desperately.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to talk about Georgiy Sudakov. Ryan Taylor says that Tottenham have met with the agents of Shakhtar midfielder Georgiy Sudakov last week to discuss a potential summer transfer deal. Sudakov, who is represented by Ukrainian agency ProStar, has been floated to a number of top European clubs, and Spurs are among the growing list of admirers. And his agent actually was pictured on the side of the pitch at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium a couple of days ago. Looked like it was a non-match day, so you can read into that what you will. But if you don't know, Sudakov is a player that can play. I think he's predominantly an attacking midfielder, but he's been deployed in all 3 positions in midfield this season: the 6, the 8, and the 10. So a very versatile midfielder, young player coming out of the Ukrainian league, 21 years of age, who has been touted to have a very big future. I'm not sure what kind of level he's at now, but I mean, what are the chances of Shakhtar dealing with us at this moment in time?
not very high at this point. I would say. Let's just say if they have a list of teams that they do deal with and the teams they don't deal with, we've probably got about 15 underlines under Tottenham Hotspur on the do not deal with. Listen, I don't know a lot about him. I don't watch a lot of Ukrainian football. I love hearing about being attracted to these youngsters like Bergvall. Bergvall really, really, really excites me, and I
Yeah.
cannot wait to see him. And I don't mind us doing that, but to keep going for these youngsters when we need some ready-made, not need a couple of years ready-made. I don't know. I don't know. We've got Bergvall in. I welcome young additions coming in, but there needs to be some substantial and ready-made players ready to go first.
Yeah, I guess it all down to the scouting department and where they think that player is at the moment. Because if they do think he can come in and become a starting player for us next season, and I'm all for it. All you need to do is look at someone like Saliba, at Arsenal, came in very young, walked straight in after a loan spell. I think he walked straight into the first team at 21, and he was probably one of the best defenders in the league.
Oh, he has done very well. He had a good few loan periods, didn't he? He had a good few loan spells for the last 2 seasons. There's no doubt how good Saliba's been. You can't, just because we're Spurs fans, say he is a classy defender. And sometimes the loan system works that way. But I think when I heard you and Simeon talking about him a week ago, they were talking a ridiculous amount of money, weren't they?
Well, there's probably one price for everyone and then one price for Tottenham because they want their Manuel Solomon money back.
Exactly. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. We're going through the season of madness, aren't we? Where we're just going to be linked to every single player.
Yeah, and another player that we linked with, the last player that we're going to talk about incoming transfers, is Samuel Iling-Junior of Juventus. And a Juve publication called Tutto Juve say that Tottenham and Brighton do still remain interested in the Juventus winger Samuel Iling-Junior. Obviously, he ticks a few boxes, winger who we desperately need. Whether he's good enough to maybe stamp his authority on the team remains in question, but he's also of that he's English as well, so he covers that quota. So what is your thoughts on Samuel Iling-Junior?
We need wingers, don't we? I mean, we've been going on about this. You could see it even if you look at Sunday. Werner went off with his injury. We need some serious competition, and I think this guy does have the potential to be a exciting prospect and do a good job at Tottenham. So if he did come, I would be all for it. Especially, you got to remember, this home quota thing is going to become really important. And if we can get him in, that certainly helps.
Yeah. The thing is, though, like in terms of ability, like is he better than what we have? Is he better than a Timo Werner? Is he better than a Manuel Solomon? I don't know, because he doesn't play week in, week out for Juventus. He hasn't seemed to get that many minutes this season. So is it just another one that we're going to be skimping out on? Should we be going and setting our sights a bit higher?
Oh, listen, I would rather we set ourselves higher. There's no doubt about that. And I came on your show, I came on the fan show, and I said we're rumoured to have this 200 million. I said we just need 200 million just to resort out the front line, let alone everything else. That front line at the moment, we're just not scoring goals. We don't just look as threatening as we did at the beginning of the season. There needs to be a revamp of that front line. And if you look at it, people coming in, if Iling-Junior comes in, fair play. But could we get better? Yes, we could. Will we? We'll wait and see.
Last but not least, we're going to be talking about Giovanni Lo Celso, as Tutto Mercato claim that Tottenham want to end speculation around Giovanni Lo Celso this summer and are already working on a new deal for the midfielder. The club have made him aware that he's part of their plans and want to extend his 2025 contract a further 2 years. This is a really strange one for me because you're looking at Lo Celso. He doesn't get the required minutes that what he deserves on his performances this season. So why would he sign a new contract?
Why? I don't know why he would. If I was the player, I wouldn't want to. Especially what I thought he should have been on the North London derby for Maddison a lot sooner than he came on. I think I honestly would start him against Chelsea and drop Maddison. It's always cheaper to extend someone's contract than sell them and take the hit and have to reinvest in a player. But why? If we're looking at why would he want to sign? He's not getting the minutes. He's not getting the game time. when he's fit, he could be a really, really good player. The problem is, obviously, we have an issue which is there to see with his fitness. But on his day and when he's fit, he can be a game changer. But even when the game changer in Maddison isn't performing, he's not coming on and getting the minutes. So I don't understand why he'd want to sign.
Yeah. It really confuses me because like the whole news throughout the whole season has been like Celso going the end of the season, Celso's going, and now suddenly 30th of April there's a report saying we want to offer him a new contract. It just really confuses me because it doesn't seem like we value him too highly because he never gets minutes. Yep. And then on the flip side, like, he's a player that wants to further on his career, maybe go back to Spain, go to Italy, somewhere like that, where he is going to play consistent football when he's fit. And the reality is, whenever we do give him consistent football, he gets injured after a game or two.
Yeah, you're spot on, but it just goes to show again that there's just no thinking around what we do. Because if obviously it's all rumours that we hear. 1 minute he's going, now he's staying, but now he's not playing, but now we're going to offer him a new contract. When you think about it logically, it just goes to show there is absolutely no plan of what's going on here. You would think they would be moving on to next season and think, right, these players we're going to get out, these players we're going to try and get in, these players' contracts. Him personally signing a new contract makes no sense to me. The club offering him a new contract could only be if we do want to sell him, his value goes up.
Yeah.
But then who's going to want to sign a very injury-prone player?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just best for everyone just to cut their losses this summer. You know, I still think you can get probably somewhere in between 10 and 20 million for him. So you take that money, you invest it in the summer transfers, and then you move on. I mean, we've had him for so long now, hasn't he? It's like,
yep.
It's time to move on, isn't it?
It really is. And for his own career, you got to think going into next season, there's going to be all the build up to the World Cup, the summer after the summer. So he's going to want to start getting regular first team football. He missed the World Cup because of injury. He's got a Copa America to come. So that's what you got to remember. This transfer window as well, we've got the Euros and Copa America. So deals are going to have to be done around those tournaments, obviously. So it's going to be an interesting window anyway.
Yeah, I think the PSR deadline as well, 30th of June, I believe. Is that? I'm not sure if that's before or I don't know
right.
When do the Euros start? Is that mid-June or something?
Mid-June, yeah.
So I actually think that surely there'll be deals happening throughout the tournament because of that.
Yeah, well, he'll be in America or over here on the Copa America, so I don't know when that starts. But the Euros mid-June, so we'll have to wait and see.
Didn't we once sign, who was it, Didier Zakora during an international tournament? I remember during a World Cup or something, him showing up a Tottenham shirt or something.
Well, no, I can remember Sissoko was away on France duty when we went to sign him, and he got to they gave him permission to go, and then Newcastle said don't get on the plane because they've only offered 16 million. And then he had to wait around until the 30, and then it was him and Everton. But yeah, they can move, but you think actually in real tournaments, I remember with Teddy Sheringham, I remember with Harry Kane, they're like, I'm not talking whilst I'm away on England duty because my full focus is with my country. So we'll have to wait and see how all the countries deal with it.
All right. But that is all we have today in terms of the Tottenham update. Brian, thank you so much for coming on today, filling in Simeon's, well, I was going to say in Simeon's seat, but his seat in Toronto, let's say. But do you want to let the people know what's coming up on Tottenham on Tour?
Yeah, every morning, Ben and Dave are doing the morning shows. You've got the reactions from me after games from the Scotland Yard. And your management. I might do another From the Heart video this week. But yeah, lots of things coming up on the channel. And thanks for having me as always, Ben.
No problem. Thanks for coming on. But yeah, that is all we have time for today. Thank you everyone for joining us. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.